Hello and welcome back to Innovative Spelling, where we look at 100 of the most frequently misspelled words and give you some strategies to spell them correctly. Looking at here is part 4, but before we move on, I want to congratulate you for being some smart cookies who already know a lot of words and how to spell them correctly. One of the key things I want to point out about innovative spelling is to connect to words that you already know how to spell, because the more connections you make to other words that you already know, the more neural pathways that you build. So you can really improve your recall or better remember how to spell words correctly. And again, we want to break those old spelling habits and replace them with better ones using strategies. So let's go ahead, move on, and take a look at those strategies. For our focused words, some, same, come, came, give, gave, goes, and does.
We have 5 more, actually 8 more words. I like to connect them all together because the more connections you make between certain words, the more actually you build your neural pathways in your brain, which is a fancy word of saying more connections make stronger remembering. And so that's what we're going to do here. The words here, the beginning one we're going to do is some. In fact, all of these came off the list of like the top 100 most frequently misspelled words. And I was kind of surprised to see them, but then I started to think, man, I do see some of these spellings sometimes. Some, S-U-M, like the number some. But this one is some like you have a handful of candy and you have something in your hand and you want some of that from your friend maybe. So this is what we say. So give me some. So give me some. I see that candy, so give me some. Kind of rude, but when you do things like that, it clicks in your brain because it's kind of silly or funny or different, and that's what helps it stick and helps you remember. So give me some. And you see the word so and me in the word some. So give me some. That's how we remember that one. Now the word come. And I kind of see why these, now I start to look through them, why maybe they are confusing, because they all have silent E, these 3. But they're really not doing a silent E. They're not making the O say O and the I say I. It's kind of strange. But that's English for you. So that's why we come up with these strategies. So with this one, we say come, I see C-O and me in it. I think of Coco. Coco, come to me. It could be your friend, Coco, or somebody saying, maybe it's a spooky voice, Coco, come to me, something like that. Or maybe you have a little pet and you say, Coco, come to me, something like that. But you see the C-O and the me in the word come, and that's how we remember that. Give is a little strange. I don't tend to see students make mistakes with the word give too often, but that doesn't mean it doesn't happen. So I wanted to come up with a strategy to help, and you can always come up with your own that might even work better than the ones that I have here. And I see the word I've, like I have, I've in the word give. I've given it to her. I've given it to him. I took a little liberty with adding the N on given there. But you can see the word I've in the word give. That might be another way to help you remember to spell the word give. Now before I go on to does and goes, I have a couple more little strategies to help you out with some of these. Some and same. Let's go back to so give me some, or so give me some. Think of I want the same as him, or I want the same as her, so give me some of the same. And I could take the word some and make it into same just by adding one little line. So if you already know the word some, you can now know the word same, and vice versa. Come, Coco, come to me. Coco came to me. So you know again the word come, you know the word came. Give. If you know the word give, you can know the word gave. Often what I find probably is that more students know gave than give. So you can work the opposite on all of these too. If you know gave already, I see the word ave in there, like Avenue or ga. Either way, most people know gave because E makes the A say A. You can just take that off and make that into an I. Give. You can also work backwards if you already know the word came, because E makes the A say A. Take off that little line and you make come. Same with same. Take that off and make same become some. Working back and forth, again, builds those little brain pathways to help make it stronger for you to remember all these things. Last two, does and goes. There's a few different ways to do this. I'm not sure which one's going to stick for you. You might even come up with your own. Let's start with does. A lot of times I see this spelled as does, D-U-Z, because that's how we say it. Or I see does because kids are starting to realize, oh, there's an E in there somewhere, but where does it go? So they put it at the end. But that's dose, like a dose of medicine. It says does. One of the few ways we can look at it is do essays. If you cover it up, you see the word does in there. Do essays. He does essays. Do estimates. She does estimates. Something like that. Another way that might help you to remember these. This is oh no, let's go on and go down to goes actually. Goes is very similar, and I connect them together. And I think, go do essays. Go do estimates in math. And by doing that, you can kind of see the word goes. Or you can, say, go do essays. She goes to do essays. Go do estimates. He goes to do estimates. Something like that to help you remember that goes and does. For goes and does, it's going to have an ES. Now, why does this have an ES on the end of it anyway? Well, that's because it's a verb. And if this helps, maybe sometimes this helps with a couple's kids because they start to realize the connection here. I rush. He rushes with the ES. That's why it's there. It's a verb. You put the ES on. Let's see. I crunch. She crunches with the ES. Same thing if I say I do. I go. He does. She goes. I don't know if that's going to make a connection for you, but let me give you one more. Most often I find between does and goes, most of the time people know how to spell goes. They get that one better than does. Probably because it says does in it. It's not quite spelled as closely. What I do is if I know how to spell goes, I just change that G and do a D. Does. That is probably maybe the easiest one, but you just never know what works best for people, so I wanted to give you all of them. Go ahead. I know I've given you a lot in a short amount of time. Take what you need, put it in your spelling notebook or spelling cards, and make sure to keep creating your own strategies and share them. And if you can contact me via the website and want to share some of your strategies, that would be cool too.
Thanks again for watching. Now remember, if you have any questions, comments, or you want to share your spelling strategies with me, go to teacherspayteachers.com. You can also find there the printable spelling cards, workbook, or even download the free PowerPoint presentation with all 5 different spelling strategy types. Remember when you go to teacherspayteachers.com to search under Innovative Spelling or Innovative Answers by Jolene. Thanks so much, and we'll see you next time.